Hey, what's up? What's up, LV? Hello. Playing an LV adjacent game today. Playing Stella Vanity. Yeah, it's on it's DL site. You know, that site that's like 90% porno. For some reason, the guy that makes this doesn't want to put it on a better platform. Puts it on the porn site. So I had to sign up and make an account. This game's only like $5. I recommend it. Yeah, it's the Stella Vanity. I bought this in Battle Traverse off the L site. To sift through a sea of generic anime porn to find cool stuff like this. I don't know why they put like actual legit non-porn games on that site, because that's all that's on there. just generic anime girls with triple Z cup boobs. Like the most bland shit. No interest in that stuff. But I do like shmups. Probably all kinds of other ones on there that are stuck in the sea of porno. They're weird to just like, yeah, I don't want to put this on a platform for like more legit games. We're gonna put it on the borderline hentai site. But hey, they can do whatever they want, I guess. Just don't know how many sales they're getting. Maybe they don't care about making sales. Game is too long. I'm exhausted already. This is only on easy mode as well. Needs to end already. Too long. If I know this is going to be like an hour long, I wouldn't have bought it. And like quick 30-minute runs like max, like Cyberia or Graze Counter. This is too exhausting. Taking way too long. It's been like, how many of these ships now? Like, where's the last boss? Just hurry up and give me the boss. Mentally exhausting. Okay, please be the boss. Okay, like, how much health do you need? Just die. I guess they really do want you to, like, level up or something, because this is on easy mode. We still have, like, 1 billion HP. HP sponge boss. Please, no more. I'm exhausted. Goodness gracious. I guess once you level up, it probably gets a lot more manageable. Yeah, that was exhausting. Well, GG's, I guess. First clear. Yeah, the guy did everything. The art, the design, and the music. That's pretty impressive. But then you still only sell your game on a porn site. Put your game on a porn site. There's like so much garbage on there. Something cool like this is completely obscured in a sea of porno. I don't really understand why. Alright, so I'll have to go open up the translation guide and find out what all these do. But I'm all shmupped out right now. That was fun. I'll probably do a run of that every kitty sitting stream. Well, it seems like they want you to play on easy because last boss just has boatloads of health. I guess they want you to level up or something, which is fine. I don't particularly mind that. Ugh. That guy's been working on that game for like 10 years. I don't know how you could work on a shmup of that quality for that long and then like never once consider at least putting it on Switch. That should be like the bare minimum. Like that game is better than so much of the other shmups on Steam. But nope, not on Steam, not on Switch. It's just stuck on a porn site. I don't understand it, man. A lot of Japanese doujin developers are still really behind the times, and they don't put their stuff on Steam. I feel like bare minimum for that game should be Switch, because there's plenty of Switch exclusive shmups. I don't get it. I didn't even know that game existed until a real life friend of mine who's a real big shmup fan told me about it. And then I went on their DL site and bought it. It was like $5. Selling it for nothing, and then on a site that's mostly hentai. Makes no sense to me. That guy is allergic to money. One of those doujin developers that thinks you can't dare to put it on like a platform people actually use for actual games and not porn. EL site is like 90% porno. Probably more than that. To find anything that's not porn, you basically have to be told about it from somebody else like I was. Okay, I'm not sifting through all this generic anime porn to find a cool shmup. And apparently the developers of that and Battle Traverse are allergic to money. Have some kind of fatal money allergy. I see no reason why they would like not have a Switch port for that. Lots of shmups that are exclusive to Switch. Pretty much all the Hamster Arcade Archive games. A bunch of the Cave ports as well didn't make it to Steam. What DL site looks like if there was some kind of age restriction. There's probably like 4 games on there that aren't porn. That's probably like 99% porn. Does that site even have a like age restriction? I feel like they'd be self-aware if they had one, because That's all that's on that site. Put on like no explicit content filter, and it shows you like 3 games. It's like Battle Traverse, Stella Vanity, which I was just playing, and then probably like one other shmup. Like when you hide sexual content on Steam and like suddenly the amount of games that come out every day shrinks by like half because most of it is generic AI generated porn, like the lowest of the low effort. There's been a lot of that on Switch as well, like obvious AI generated hentai. What the hell happened to Nintendo, man? They used to have like some semblance of quality control. It's gotten to the point where there's sites that literally filter out all the porn. You can find an actual game. it's like not even real hentai. It's all AI generated. I don't think anybody's getting off to that stuff. What's up, Lightside? Hello. Like, the EH shop is worse than Steam now. At least on Steam, they heavily discourage any kind of AI use without disclosure. On the eShop, they don't require that, so there's so much stuff that's obviously AI generated. So hard to find a good game on there. I wonder if the Twitch 2 eShop is like actually usable, because that was the worst thing about all the AI slop on the eShop was the operating system was so slow you could barely browse the store. And it's like pages and pages of that junk. Apparently the first Nintendo Direct is just for Donkey Kong. It's not like for anything else. Everybody's really fiending for a Direct, but Nintendo said no. If you don't care about Donkey Kong, you're left in the dark. That game looks okay. I don't know, I'm still traumatized from Donkey Kong 64. That game was trash. That game made me stop liking collectathons. Well, you get a, I think it's like tomorrow or something, or like the 18th. There's a Donkey Kong Bonanza Direct. Where is the Zelda Muso Direct? That's what I'm waiting for. Pull the trigger and buy one. Yeah, Donkey Kong is one of the bigger games coming out in the launch window, and I guess they're doing a Direct just for that, and Nintendo fans are understandably pissed off because the console is pretty barren right now. If you know, you have a PC and a Steam Deck, there's like not really much on there. So there's a lot hinging on Donkey Kong for the next few months. There's the new Pokemon, I think, at the end of the year, which is obviously going to sell 1 trillion copies, but you don't have much in between. Zelda Muso doesn't have a release date. It just says winter. I don't know, like, how far in winter they expect to, like, put that game out, though, because Pokemon is obviously going to be the main thing anybody's going to care about. They have, like, one game on there I want to play, which is the new Muso, but, like, 3 seconds of gameplay. They said it's not going to run like garbage this time, so that gives me some confidence. The last game was abysmal, mostly just because it ran so poorly. Apparently this one, the new Muso game, was supposed to be on Switch 1, but they decided to make it Switch 2. I'm like, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Long overdue. Age of Calamity was, like, struggling to run. It, like, barely functioned. And consistently under 30 FPS, like, at almost all times. And that was when it was running good, too. It's more stuff on the screen. It was running more at, like, 20 FPS. Like an N64 game. I think that was a good move. That should mean that it should run pretty well, too. That's the one I'm excited to learn more about. Donkey Kong, I couldn't really care less. Yeah, the direct is just for that game, so people are very pissed off. They want an actual direct. I think the problem is they pretty much like already announced all the major games that are coming this year that are at least like AAA exclusive. Like there aren't any more coming. They're in a tough spot because they announced a direct and it's just like indie games like this. People will be pissed off. But doing a direct on one game, usually people don't like that. I don't envy the people who have to make those decisions. Because I think they were pretty transparent about what's coming to it this year. Like, there's not going to magically be a bunch more AAA games coming. They heavily inflated the launch lineup with... Heavily inflated the launch lineup with PC ports. I think that's why a lot of people are upset. Because Steam Deck's been out for a good, like, 3 years now, so... You wanted a more powerful Switch, I mean... You already have it. It's already been proven that the performance between Switch 2 and Steam Deck for, like, the PC ports is pretty similar. Like, the battery life and performance is pretty similar, so... If you already have a Steam Deck, I can understand the frustration, because there's not much else. They'll probably have another direct in a few months, I think. But the first direct was pretty clear. There are games coming, but the launch window for it is pretty paltry. Like, if you don't like Mario Kart or Donkey Kong, there's not really much else. Well, I should add on to that. You don't like Mario Kart, and you don't like Donkey Kong, and you have another system to play the PC ports on, yeah, there's not much. I think that's really all it is. It's really all it is. A lot of people who like hand portable gaming already got a Steam Deck, and that's like over half of the lineup is PC ports, so it's not like the Switch 2 is really that much more powerful than the Steam Deck. They're about on par. The Xbox ROG Ally is probably going to be the next big upgrade, because that has a really good processor in it. That's probably also going to be like $1,000. So that's like for super enthusiasts, rich people. It's just that thing can't compete with Nintendo games, so... I would want the build quality and the battery life of that thing to be immaculate, like perfect. I've heard horror stories about ROG Ally build quality. That thing's not going to be any cheaper than like $800. It's going to be insanely expensive. Easily double the price of a Switch 2, minimum. Yes, All-Star Racing Transformed was was pretty good. That was like the only Mario Kart clone that felt any good. Lots of Mario Kart clones. The only one that really came close was All-Star Racing Transformed. Like that was a high-tier game. So if they can get anywhere close to that, I think people who don't have a Switch will be happy. Although the game will be on Switch 2 as well, I'm sure, so just don't want to put up with Mario Kart item RNG. Probably a better option. I'll probably do some fundraiser for a Switch 2, but not really a priority at the moment. If I had one of those right now, if someone just gave one to me, like, the only thing I'd play on it is old Muso games. It's like the only thing I'd play on it. I don't think it really is necessary right now. I'll probably make like a GoFundMe with some incentives or something to get one, because I would like to cover, do like performance reviews and stuff. Yeah, there's not really much on there that I want right now. There's nothing I want right now, actually. I'm sure the first Direct is going to have some pretty insane stuff that'll quell all the complaints about it having no games. I don't know, I think it's pretty warranted. I think the lineup for the Switch 2 is pretty barren. Feels too heavily carried by Mario Kart. And, like, not everybody likes that game, so if you're not interested in that, there's not really a whole lot of reason to have one. The performance patches are nice, but there's, like, a lot of games that are missing them. They only did the latest Pokemon. Kirby and the Forgotten Land is getting one. Both Zeldas did, which is nice. Again, I feel like people who wanted to play those at a higher frame rate have already been doing so for years. But, I guess for non-tech savvy people, you've got decent upgrades coming. I've heard pretty much all the Muso games run at like Block 60 now, and they load like much faster. So I guess if you're a Muso junkie, Switch 2 is worth having. I've seen reports of Fire Emblem 3 Hopes, which infamously pretty much barely ran at 30 FPS, is locked at 60 now. So, that's pretty cool. Actually, the Nintendo Direct is probably where the next Tales remaster is going to be. Very high chance that it's going to be announced there. So I'm interested because of that, but that's obviously going to be on everything. I won't need to get a Switch 2 for that. It'll run fine on here. Pretty much every Tales game you can get 60 FPS most of the time on Steam Deck already. Even Arise, which is the most graphically impressive one. If you tweak the settings, it runs really well. So, but yeah, it's probably going to be officially announced there because the Graces remaster was announced at like the last Switch 1 Direct. I hope the Muso game is good. Main problems with Age of Calamity was getting like optimal weapons was really boring and too RNG heavy. I'm talking about the emulated version I play, where the frame rate is no longer an issue. It's way too grindy to get going in that game. I hope that they're going to improve that. I thought the combat itself was pretty good. Wasn't really a combo game, but felt responsive. Yeah, this game's still really buggy, but I don't feel like playing anything else, so let's play this for today. Spirit X Strike in 3 days. Can't wait. Another good character action games. That's the first character action game to come out this year. Is Spirit X Strike, and then Lost Soul Aside is the end of August, and then Ninja Gaiden 4 is the end of October. So we're getting a character action game every 2 months. That is awesome. I wonder which one I'm gonna like the most. I'll be playing all 3. Spirit X Strike, Ninja Gaiden 4, and Lost Soul Aside. We're getting a break from all the roll slop. And then we have Neo 3 the beginning of next year. That's very exciting too. It'll be exciting next 12 months for the channel. Lots of cool stuff coming out. And right now the channel is heavily carried by indie games like this. It's also Shinobi. Shinobi's coming out soon. Shinobi looks great. It's a day 1 purchase. Cosmic Invasion, Double Dragon Revive, also coming this year. That's great. Somehow that didn't stun him. Oh well, it doesn't matter. I don't really like that boss. Like, the only way that they could make it hard was to give him that shield mechanic. That's alright. Like, somehow that went through my whole shield. What the hell was that? Yeah, it might be time to retire that game. Might be time to retire it. Replace it with a less buggy roguelike, which I have plenty of. I haven't done the Astral Ascent DLC yet. That game is a lot more stable. Let's see here. Last time I got to that boss, he glitched me out of bounds and I couldn't move, so I insta-lost my run. What else we got here for roguelikes? Oh yeah, random axe that shmup roguelike. Gotta get back and try that again. Hello. No, I don't think that was a glitch. I think I didn't have my barrier up, and that's why I died. But it doesn't really matter. I don't know. It's hard to get pissed at dying in that game because the balance is so messed up. You don't get anything for beating the game. You get a pat on the back, and like the rates to optimize your gear are so low. They really need to fix stuff like that before I'll probably play that hardcore again. I think I got my money's worth out of it at this point. I don't know how they spent like months working on that update, and like not one person said, shouldn't there be a reward for beating the boss? Because there isn't one. He beat the boss and nothing happens. You do get a nice like beautiful pixel art ending the first time you do it, but like gameplay wise you get nothing. So like when I die to bullshit from that boss, it like doesn't really piss me off. There's nothing to really get pissed about. The game doesn't reward you. The RNG to like max out your gear is really bad. They need to fix stuff like that. It's a good game, but I don't know if I could really recommend it right now. It needs a couple patches for sure. They've done like 2 hot fixes, but they still need to do a lot more. I'm better off just playing like Entropy Effect or Astral Ascent at that point. Because they're all like side-scrolling action roguelikes with movesets and stuff. Both of those games are way better put together. More stable. Astral Ascent pixel art is just about as good as Dragon is Dead, but the design of the game is better. I have a little bit of time left. Let's see what else I can do here.
Street Fighter Alpha 3! It's showtime! Face it straight!
Hey, where'd my save go? What the hell? My save's gone. Oh, never mind. It's right here. What the hell? Yes, this is the version that they should be giving us in those collections. This is the one they should be giving us, but they're not. I really feel like making the collections only for PvP was a mistake. It feels like they're burning all their goodwill they got with casual fighting game fans who, they just want to level up and do stuff you can't do in the normal game. World Tour is insanely popular. Maybe not in the, like, hardcore fighting game community, but it is popular. So it's really weird that, like, after Street Fighter 6, they keep putting out these collections that just gut all the single-player stuff. Like, I really don't understand it. Can't be that hard to, like, put this in an emulator and sell it back to people. It's one of those, money allergy things.
Hey, come on! Stand up! Face it straight!
probably the worst version of this game. The best one is HD. HD with original arcade balance and quick drop, in my opinion. The Dreamcast is close second. But the HD one with the original balance is probably the best one you can play right now. Because I played this game a lot on Xbox Live, and like no one that actually knew how to play the game from the arcade. No one played the rebalance. No one liked it. Kind of like trying to rebalance like Melee, you know? People have been playing it that way for decades. You can't just change it. It was a nice effort to like make the game more balanced, but it was just too late. People are already used to the arcade balance and all of its mess, including the unbalanced characters and diamond flip glitch. It all just kind of became part of the game. It was very interesting how they tried to fix it, but no one ended up caring. It's just too heavily ingrained into the game's competitive scene at that point. They made a valiant effort, I would say. I think it actually ended up did end up being more balanced, but like I said. Yeah, this one doesn't have diamond glitch. What was I just saying? Yeah, this one doesn't have diamond glitch. The diamond glitch's not working. Yeah, this is a pretty crash version of this game. I didn't know that. I guess this was after they found out that people were doing that and killing people in like 10 seconds. Like, we can't have that. We gotta get rid of that. Even though there's so many bad characters in this game that are never worth using. That's what they tried to fix with the HD version. Have like less obvious shit tier characters. I guess that's just what happens when glitches and exploits become like part of a game's competitive scene, and you try to change it. I think it's cool that they tried, but I grew up playing this in the arcades like competitively. It might not show right now, but I was decent at this game on Xbox. There we go. I distinctly remember, like, pretty much everybody, including people I actually knew in real life, they never played the rebalance mode. They never even touched it. Like, yeah. I guess that's what happens when you take, like, 13 years to try to rebalance something. It's like no one's going to care. Nobody that actually already knew how to play played it. It was a waste of time. I think it was better received than the 2 Turbo HD remix stuff, at least. But that was kind of the same thing. People just accepted it for being a broken, unbalanced game. At least this game has a definitive version. Some people don't like the quick drop. I think it makes it more like Tetris, where you can play as fast as you can think. But the arcade version does not have quick drop. So for competitive play, some people didn't like that quick drop was forced on. That was probably the one thing that was like pretty unanimously disliked about this between the competitive scene. The Game Boy Advance version is pretty decent too, because it has quick drop and the diamond glitch. The GBA versions was pretty OP back in the day. It's more arcade perfect than this one. This one is a weird mix of having the quick drop, but then no diamond glitch, so it doesn't play like the arcade version. No wonder I'm killing so slow. I can't diamond glitch. Gee.
負けたっす。
GG's on a shit version of the game. I didn't realize this didn't have, Diamond Clip. Legit, the Game Boy Advance version is better than this. Lower res, but, plays more like arcade. Weird, they had a weird obsession with, like, rebalancing this game, like, 10 years after it came out. I don't understand why. And then they did the final version, which was HD, and like I said, no one played the rebalance. It was dead day one. From what I remember with the rebalancing, what they did was, they made the shit tier characters like actually playable, because at a high level, it's pretty much just like mostly just Ken. Everybody just plays Ken because Ken is the best non-boss character. If you're good at sending big chains over, it's very hard for the other player to recover, especially with Diamond Glitch. So they like made a lot of the real shit characters like Chun. Chun is one of the worst characters in the game because if she sends a big chain, you can often send it right back at her. They tried to fix stuff like that, but it's just what happens when you try to rebalance an old game like that saw like years and years of competitive play. Just no one wants to play the new mode. So like they did that, and they also took out the Diamond Glitch. So all of those things combined made people not want to play it. Let me see if I have the PS3 version on here. Oops. I don't have the file for it. Must have forgotten to put it on. Well, that's going to be it for now, folks. It's about time for me to head home. If I feel like it, I might turn on the stream and do like some Crystal of Atlan or Kazan or something. Kazan did get a new patch today. I don't really want to start anything new until Spirit X Strike drops, so probably just random indie games and stuff. I'll see you guys later tonight, possibly. Good night. Thanks for hanging out.